Dave, I want to thank you again for the order. The manager just signed off on your deal, and I know that you wanted that extra $500 for the trade, and I appreciate that. So we were able to obtain that extra $500 for you. So again, I want to thank you for your business. There is one thing that we do want to go over with you. It's required that in our dealership that we show everyone this product. It's called Auto Armor. I've been involved with Auto Armor since 1985, and that happens to be what this worksheet is about. They talk in great detail about all the things that are covered, and I'd like to go and show you first of all the interior protection. Interior protection is something that's very important in the course of the next 7 years if you have, well, as I mentioned earlier, when I looked at the inside of your light gray Cobalt, that Cobalt had a bunch of stains in it, if you remember, and we talked a little bit about that. Well, you can imagine, you know and I know we're going to spill something in there with your 6 kids and 2 dogs that you have. But here's kind of what's happened in the past with your vehicle. That's going to just soak right through. It's going to kind of drip right in. And what we use is a high pressure system that applies it to the fabric of the inside of that car. And fabric protection is something that, this is not a can of Scotch Guard. Everyone says, well, I'll just run and get a can of Scotch Guard. This is a water-based product, not an oil-based product, so you don't have the environmental issues. But if that happens where you spill that coffee or what have you in the back seat of that car or the front seat or whatever, we both know you're going to do that at some point over the next 7 years. You'd agree, right? Yeah. My story is a gallon of gasoline. I'm coming back from the gas station, and I knew I did it. As I made the trip, I hit a turn. I could smell the gas. And I got home in the garage, and here I got a half a can of gas spilled out in the back of my minivan. And I had this product installed in my 1989 minivan. I've had this stuff for years. And all I did was take a towel to it. And at that point, I dabbed it up with a towel, put a fan on it, and a day later I took it to the store. We put some shampoo on it. No more stains, nothing soaked through, nothing went into the matting. I didn't have any discolor. It sat like that with gasoline on top of it. So if that tells you anything about the fabric protection. In addition to that, you also get a bunch of other things covered. If I get in that car with a screwdriver in my back pocket or something and I put a rip or a tear in it for a 6 inch, up to 6 inches in any one of the seats, they'll actually replace the seat for you. They'll repair it. If you stain it with anything that's maybe more than coffee, like bleach or drain opener, or you've got vomit, urine, makeup stains. Perhaps you've got UV rays for the dash. Let's say there's a UV ray. They seal the dash up, so now that dash maybe fades in the next 7 years. Certainly that's something you can't call General Motors up and say, hey, guess what, my dash faded. 5.5, 6 years from now, they're not necessarily going to pay for that. These people will. Auto Armor's been in business since 1935. They've been in Wisconsin for decades. Like I mentioned, I've been around them for a long, long time. And this will just give you just a slight idea of, go ahead and touch that once. It's almost bone dry. So, I mean, nothing soaks through that product. So that's just the fabric portion of this, just the fabric protection portion. And then I also mentioned when we walked around the outside of your car, you had a bunch of spots on the hood. And on that one fender, you got like where the paint's like almost disappearing from that black on the outside. Let me just show you what this paint seal is about too. There happens to be a unit here. If you don't mind the plastic glove, I know it seems a little odd, but the glove will really help us to show you what this is about. If you want to put that on. When you rub over the hood, you can tell me which side happens to be treated and which side is not. When you rub over that hood. That's one side, and you can feel it on the other side. You feel a little white bumps. You can almost feel like little bumps in the surface. What that is that's an unfinished and unsealed product. What happens is they take paint seal and they apply it to this car. And when they do that, they tape all those bumps off of that surface. So the less bumps, the shinier the surface. The less bumps, the less likely you are to have any kind of fading or cracking, sun damage. Let's say a leaf falls on here and the acid from the leaf was to stay on here and that clear coat starts to pit and all of a sudden you lift the leaf off and you can actually see where the leaf was sitting, or bird droppings from a bird, or maybe you've got that whole front grill thing going on with dead bugs and then you forgot to get to it from last June and now it's the end of March and you go out there with your thumbnail and you take it off and the paint comes off with you. They'll paint your car. They'll paint the hood, they'll paint the surface of this car because the entire surface is sealed with this product. Doesn't that feel smooth? Yeah. Pretty interesting, huh? That's all just part of what this package A is about. Personally, that's what I get as package A. So that just gives you an idea, just the surface alone. You can even see the shine difference when you look at it. When we go out there and we're done with the outside of the car and we do the inside of the car, then we also seal the rims. So what we'll do is put these rims under a sealant. There's a nice chrome rim that's on there, and they seal that chrome rim up with our product, and they cover that for 7 years. And when I say cover it, let's say you've got any kind of loss of gloss for that. So brake dust, maybe there's some brake. In fact, you have brake dust on your fronts, on your Cobalt, where you've got that orange line there, and all of a sudden that color's gone. That probably cost you a few dollars today when we went to appraise your trade-in. You know, that might be why we had to go back and forth a little bit about what your old car was worth. It might have actually been worth a little bit more if it didn't have those things. The dings on the doors, too, was the other product. That's part of this package. Then what we also do is we come in with a caramel-colored product. It's called rust proofing. And they literally come right in here. There's a little vent right here in this door panel. See that little pocket right there?
Yes.
This pops right off. I don't have a tool, but I think I can get it. But at any rate, they pop this off with the windows up, and they've got a tool that's designed to slide inside that door panel, and it sprays a caramel flesh-colored material through that door panel, and it sprays on the inside of the door panel, and then it drips and drains out of this drain hole right here. So it's a liquid until it sets and becomes a chemical bond with the inside of those door panels. So now at that point, it seals the inside, but it doesn't plug the hole.
Okay.
So it doesn't have this, where in years, many years ago, they'd plug the holes and then they'd have water sitting in those door panels, and that was an issue. So now they've improved that by using the right tool, and the factory puts that hole in there so they can get in there to go in there and work on the panels, not just for undercoating and rust proofing, but also for other reasons. They go in if they need to work on stuff. We also do an undercoat, and the undercoat is a black tar-based product. I have it on video. I can show you a little better about that. But they go anywhere there's steel on the inside of on the underbody of the vehicle, they'll spray rust proofing. It's a tar-based product. So the stuff that's in the door panels and the stuff that's underneath the car is a tar-based product. The stuff that's on the sealant on the upside and on the inside are all water-based products. We also do the wheel wells as part of that whole package. So dents and dings, alloy rims, paint seal, fabric protection, rust proofing, and undercoating. All part of what we do as package A. And I can just show you one more time here how this works. Our dealership, Boucher Chevrolet, has come together, and what they've done with these people is they've come up with a plan. If you take package A, you save us the labor and the time that's involved in re-cleaning the car. Because, you know, when we put the wax on this vehicle, it's probably good for 90 days, and at some point that heat's going to get a little bit warmer, that wax is going to come off, and then we're going to put, you know, if it's not on there to begin with, your paint seal is going to be on now because it hasn't been done yet. So you save us the time of that, and we use a neutralizing soap before we apply it. Because of that, that package now becomes only $14.99. We take this whole thing and mark it down, $495. So instead of a $2,000 retail price, we use a $495 discount to put it to $14.99. Basically, all I need you to do is add that to your payment. You did 0 for 72 months, which is part of the financing that you did on this purchase. It changes the payment by about $19 per month. And over the course of 72 months at $19 a month, you're now covered for 7 years for all these things that I had mentioned on the outside, the inside, the underbody, the door panels. Now the underbody is a 10-year warranty, and rust perforation is for 10 years as well. Surface rust is 6 years.
I'm really interested in the density things. And that seems to me to be something that kind of caught my interest.
Yeah, because you do have quite a few dings in your other car. So you see some value in dents and dings, and you can, and quite honestly, Dave, you can purchase it separately if you wanted to. However, most people do take advantage of one of the other two packages at least. You know, I know that you kind of I got an eyebrow out of you when I showed you this product on the fabric protection, and with the kids and the dogs, I don't know if you thought that that might be a good idea or not.
That was impressive.
Yeah, it is.
If I hadn't seen that, I probably would not considered it. I would have said it's just like a Scotch guard, just like you said.
Sure.
And I could see that.
Well, and everyone said, oh, I'll get a can of Scotch Guard to do my interior, but nobody does it. And then even after they do it, that stuff wears off. This stuff does not. This stuff stays in place. And it's good anywhere in the United States. So you can have a claim any place in the country, and all you do is get online and say, hey, I got an issue, and they work the claim out with you. Online, they work the claim out with you. Like the door ding guy's here every Monday, and he's fixing 3 or 4 dings on a Monday for every the different customers that come here. He happens to be at every one of our stores here at Highway 18 a different day, and there's probably 3 or 4 customers at each store fixing a door ding. My wife and I have had 3 already in her last leased vehicle, and we fixed all 3, and now guess what? When I go to return that car, I'm not going to get charged for those door dings. It's somebody at work or somebody in a parking lot someplace. So that's getting fixed. I mean, I see that you see value in that. I also see that you see some value in the fabric protection. And you know, now if you start to look at the math of this, and you do the $499 and you do the $199, where you're going to spend $700 for $1,000, you're also going to get the paint sealant, and you're going to get the wheel appearance package. That makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, I never knew they put it on wheels.
Yeah, they put it right on those nice fancy rims.
Yeah.
Keeps it shiny too. Plus there's a
And,
cleaner.
And we've got a number of maple trees
Oh, you do?
around the house, and the cars aren't always in the garage.
Sure.
So,
A couple times a year they're going to be sitting out in those elements, and now you're going to have a stain. You know, you can't call GM up and say, hey, I was following this Viola truck, and there was something dripping out of the back of it, and 2 weeks later the paint came off my hood. I mean, there's nothing you can do there. You're not going to call anybody, but you're going to call the body shop, and we're going to have to paint your car. There's your paint seal. There's one reason right there for you to have the paint seal.
so this would be added into my bottom line.
You can add that to the total.
How much would that change my payments?
This one here changes the payment on 72 months at zero, about $18 a month. And this one here is about $14.50. For just a few dollars more per month, quite honestly, package A makes perfect sense to me. You know, we went back and forth, I know, on the pricing, and that was important to you. However, for $14.95, you're covered, like I mentioned, for 7 years on all the things I said, and then the 10 years for the rust through and for the rust perforation and the underbody.
I think we'll consider the paint package.
And I appreciate that. I think what I need you to do is initial right here, please. And, oh yeah, you can take the glove. Yeah, that would be
Do I get
helpful.
to keep this?
You get to keep the glove, yeah. The glove is a complimentary thing. And then what we'll do is we'll have our cleanup department get ready on it right now while you're waiting for the paperwork, and we'll be good to go. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll get my manager involved so he can add it to the paperwork.